Most cab operators charge 5% GST without thinking twice. But have you actually done the math? There are two GST rate options for the cab services. One 5%, the other one is 18%. Cab operators choose 5% thinking that it is cheaper for the customers. But what they might not have realized is charging 5% GST is costing them more money and they are losing lot of margins. If you run a cab services business, hit that subscribe button and also the bell icon so that I will help you understand which option will put you more money in your pocket. When you choose the 5% option, you can't claim GST input tax credit on your expenses like your software, vehicle maintenance, vehicle purchase, your office rent, your auditor costs, etc. If you choose 18%, you can claim input tax credit on all these services. Let me show you the math of the margin when you choose the 5% versus the 18% in this video. When you choose 5%, you can claim only restricted ITC. When you choose 5%, you cannot claim ITC on everything. The services on which you can claim ITC is only the transportation service. If you take a cab on rent from somebody else, by paying GST, you can claim ITC only on that. No other ITC is allowed, meaning thereby all other GST is an expense for you. When you choose 18% GST, you are eligible to take input tax credit of all your expenses, be it maintenance, vehicle purchase, rent, software, etc. And this 18% has been introduced from September 2025. Earlier it was 12%. However, these two options were always there. Number two, the 5% trap. When you choose 5%, as I said, you can't claim ITC on your expenses. Suppose the cost per trip is 500 rupees and then the GST which you have paid on your services is 50 rupees per every trip. When you choose 5%, you cannot recover this GST which is paid on your services or goods, meaning thereby you will be losing 50 rupees per trip when you choose this 5%. Number three, the 18% advantage. In the same trip, if your cost per trip is 500 rupees and the GST which you have paid on your input services or goods is 50 rupees, so that 50 rupees is not going to be your cost because you will get input tax credit. So thereby you will be saving 50 rupees per every trip by choosing 18%. Number four, how do I deal with a customer who says I will pay GST under reverse charge? Well, you are right. RCM or reverse charge is applicable when you are a non-corporate and the customer is a corporate and he opts to pay GST under reverse charge. If that happens, then whatever input tax credit you have, you cannot claim it because the customer is paying GST from his own pocket. You can avoid this situation by charging GST to the customer at 18% so that you will not lose the GST input tax credits. Therefore, choose the 18% option so that you can maximize your input tax credit, thereby improving your margin. Number six, how do I deal with customers? Because some customers will ask for 5%, somebody else may ask for 18%. Well, you can choose 5% or 18% depending upon the customer. Say somebody asks for 5% GST, then ideally you should be charging more per kilometer to the customer because you will not be getting input tax credit. Whereas somebody is okay with 18% GST rate, then the per kilometer charge for that customer should be less. Let me explain this to you with a math. Say the cost of running the cab service for 1 kilometer is 100 rupees and on top of it you are incurring 15 rupees in terms of input tax credit which is not allowed to you. When you opt for 5%, your real cost is not 100, it should be 115 because 100 is what you are incurring from your pocket. 15 rupees is what you have already paid to your vendor for inputs or input services which is lying in your input tax credit but you are not able to utilize it. So therefore, you will have to charge 115 rupees if you choose to charge 5% on your customer. On the other hand, if your customer is okay to pay 18% GST, then your actual cost of running this cab for per kilometer is 100 rupees. Therefore, you can charge only 100 rupees in that case. So whoever is choosing 5%, you charge 115 rupees, whereas whoever is choosing 18%, you charge them only 100. So offer this differential pricing based on the customer's demands. This will help you maximize your margins. This brings me to the end of this video. If you are a cab service provider, do know that you have 5% option, 18% option. Use 5% and 18% depending upon what the customer asks for. If a customer is hell bent on 5% only, then you charge them little more than what to a customer who is asking for 18%. If you find this video helpful, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon so that you will not miss any new video from us. Thank you.